Welcome back to another episode of Conversations in Queen West. I'm Kyle Bridson, and as always, sitting beside me here, Stefan Lupol. Thank you for being here, my friend.
Great
Appreciate
to be here.
you. Today, we're going to talk about something that has come into, the media's eye. It's on everyone's mind
Every day. It's on.
Really?
It's literally on our phones every day, in the news every day.
And
So we have to talk about it.
And
right?
that is tariffs, and more specifically, how will tariffs affect the housing market in GTA, really in Ontario, right?
For sure.
So we're going to roll into some of that, and yeah, let's just get right into it, I guess.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Shoot the puck. What do you got?
What do I got? Well, yeah, man. I'll start it off. Really, have you had any conversations with people about tariffs? Has it even come up for your demographic?
You know what? I've had a few sellers asking questions, a lot of buyers wondering, how are the tariffs going to affect the market? It's still too early. It's still too soon. We're, second week of March right now?
Sure.
So we're almost done Q1.
Sure.
And, literally as of tomorrow, we're going to have a new prime minister.
Mark Carney's going to be our prime minister. Look at that.
So he'll be in place. And I know I've heard a lot of representatives from Canada going out to a UN summit where they're going to be speaking with someone from the US there. So there's a lot of talks, I think, that still have to happen. I know Dougie Ford's putting his foot down here, and he's kind of fighting back against this.
Yeah, he's been on a lot of American news networks, I've noticed, actually. Like, he's going on, like, CBS, ABC, like, the whole American news circuit because he's trying to reach the American consumer, right? And I think, that's what I would do if I was in his position, too. And I know Doug Ford's PR team is, like, really good. Like, the guys who actually work on his PR stuff, exceptional. So, like, they know what they're doing. But yeah, it's an interesting time that we're living in.
Yeah.
So
I actually heard on the radio this morning that Loblaws will actually be implementing a T sticker on all of the products that I guess have a tariff on them.
That's wild.
Yeah. So
when you told me that earlier today, I couldn't believe that. I was just like, wow, it's like everything is getting so politicized that it's just like, okay, this is where we're at in the current geopolitical climate.
Yeah. So things like this take time, right, to roll out. So obviously, it's on a lot of people's minds, and kind of like, how do we handle that from a real estate aspect? We're getting a ton of questions. What's going to happen with the tariffs? So, I mean, do you have any predictions as to sort of what you see or what we might see as a downfall to this tariff?
For sure. I mean, like, just to put it into perspective, like, the market has already been relatively sluggish over the past month or so. I anticipate that it's going to be, like, seasonally a slower spring market compared to what we usually have been seeing. Yep. However, keep that in mind. We're still working with people, right? I still have buyers that I'm working with. You still have people that you're working with. Yep. There's always going to be a need for people moving, regardless of what is going on in the economy, right? They want to move on with their lives. They want to start a family. They want to upgrade their home. Maybe there's like a forced selling situation. Those things always happen, regardless of what's going on in the market. So, I mean, I have people that are first-time buyers motivated to get into the market. Literally right now, we're just being patient for the right property to come up. So,
and obviously this is still a good time. I know the last time we did a podcast, it was a great time for first-time home buyers, or even a buyer that's looking to move up.
Sure.
So, what type of properties are you looking at right now with some of your buyers?
Yeah, I'm pretty active in the East End right now, anywhere from say Riverdale to Birchcliff, looking for homes around the $1 million mark, say 900 to $1 million for a freehold home, detached semi-townhouse, whatever that may be. So I'm very active looking at homes right now in that area for, a couple who wants to buy the first home, entry-level home at $1 million in Toronto, right? That's what it is.
So what are you seeing in that price range in terms of the offers, how many buyers, like, is it competitive? What are you seeing?
For sure. So you have to always categorize different types of homes, and I like to think about it as like the best homes on the market, like the turnkey, nice kitchens, nice baths, they're still going to get multiple offers. You know, if they have an offer date, they're still going to get them. They're not going to be getting right now as many offers as they used to. Like I'm only seeing sometimes maybe 2 or 3 offers on pretty good homes.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And
whereas in the past, what would you see?
I mean, you could easily see 10 to 15 offers on these types of homes, right? So it's all about, you know, putting that into perspective. The people that are out there right now, you know, like they are really looking, like motivated, looking for homes. Whereas the people that I guess were a bit more passive, maybe they've pulled back on making a big purchase decision right now because of the uncertainty. They might even be affected directly job-wise. They probably still have a pretty good job, but they are just uncertain about what their next move is.
Right.
So they're just pulling back a little bit.
And I find a lot of buyers, you know, they're wondering, are the prices going to continue to go down? Especially the first-time home buyers. You know, someone that's really making that big jump and you know, they have a great down payment. Do they want to get in now? And, you know, maybe have a situation like in 2022 when the prices were up, and now, you know, in 2025, those people that bought in 2022, they are in a bad place because the prices have gone down. So they don't. I'm seeing that
so much volatility over the past 3 years, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly.
Can we just have a normal market? You know, I just want like I don't even want like a hot market. I just want a normal balanced market.
That
just
would be great.
The volatility has just been nuts the past few years.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of those buyers that are like, you know, should I wait? Should I wait and see what happens? But obviously, you know, you can't wait forever, and life goes on, and you know, you just need to be ready in the market. You need to have, you know, we talk about this a lot, but you need to have your deposit.
yes, you do.
Pre-approval.
Yes.
And your deposit needs to be liquid.
Yes.
Right?
Guys, just in case you forgot, we need 5% liquid in your checking or savings. 5% of the purchase price as a deposit in Toronto is pretty standard. Don't go shopping for a home before you have that available. It should not be in an RRSP or investment account.
Right,
So,
because
yes.
you have to drop that deposit check off within 24 hours.
Yes.
So I've been in that situation where, you know, the client's like, yeah, we have the money. And then they're like, oh, we didn't realize that we had to have it liquid and be able to get, yes, you do. So, I mean, these are the types of things that, you know, our team, when we're working with buyers for the first time,
Sure.
you know, we sit down with them, we go through these steps. So then we make sure that they are fully aware of the situation and what is needed. That's why we work with so many buyers.
It's about educating people, guys. That's what it comes down to.
Right,
You know?
exactly. Okay, I just wanted to quickly jump on here and thank you for watching the video up until this point. Now, if you're thinking about making a move into the Queen West neighborhood, we've left a bunch of links down in the description to reach out to us, and we can provide you with a ton of information for moving into the neighborhood. So just pop down in the description and book a call to talk to me. Thank you. We'll see you on the other side.
Yeah. So, what are you pretty busy with for these days? Like, tell me a little bit about like where you're focused on right now, whether that's area or property style. What are you kind of focused on right now?
Yeah, I have a lot of sellers that I'm working with at the moment. We have, you know, homes for sale. I've sold. We actually been really active. We sold. I don't even know how many. Maybe 10 or so over the last few months. And you know, those properties were great properties. They were staged properly. You know, we had proper photography, all part of the services that we offer, and they moved. And when they were priced right, and that's really that's what it comes down to. So,
Are you priced right?
Yeah, are you priced right?
Important conversations to have with your seller.
We still have properties on the market that aren't priced right.
Yes.
And you know, it's a tough conversation to have sometimes. You know, it's fine for me. The numbers speak for themselves. And, you know, I can say to you, based on your property and based on the comparables and where the market is right now, this is what your property should sell for. If you're still chasing that higher price point that was around, you know, a few years ago, I think you're going to be sitting on the market for a while, and sure enough, they do. So it's a constant struggle, I think, to, you know, when I'm listing a property and when we're talking to our clients about the price, obviously, you know, I want them to get the most amount of money possible, right? And it has nothing really to do with the commission. I mean, obviously, the higher price, we get a higher commission, but it's all relative when you're talking 100,000 here and there. But really, you know, I want them to get the best price possible. Is it what's the alternative? If we price high, is it going to sit on the market? Are you going to end up getting, lowball offers? So I think now more than ever, it's very critical to have it priced properly.
Pricing is everything. I'll tell you like just a quick story about, one of the houses that I viewed recently, a semi-detached property on a street called Swanwick Avenue in the East End, very close to where I used to live. And it was priced at $999 for about, I'm going to say 12 to 15 days, no offers. They dropped to $899. It sold in a few hours shortly after that. Like I got a notification on BrokerBase saying we're dropping by $100K. Motivated seller, offers anytime. I let my client know because it was still a good home.
Yeah.
They didn't love the property, but it was still a good property on the market. $899 is an attractive price. Sold firm within a matter of hours. So that tells you a little bit about maybe that seller was obviously in a position where probably they had to sell. Maybe they already purchased another property to move into, so there was definitely some motivation on the seller's side, but I feel like a lot of sellers need to hear that perspective so that they know what it takes to move a property these days, right?
You bring up an interesting point. If you are looking to move up and you own a property, is it a good idea to purchase a property first, or should you wait and sell your own property? I mean, I have an opinion. I don't know what yours is.
I mean, it really depends upon your risk tolerance. I feel it's a very personal decision. I feel most people would elect to sell first before purchasing their next property. I know I would, personally.
Yeah.
I want to have the confidence that my home is selling and I know the price that I'm selling for, so I know how much funds I have available to put into my next home.
Right. But you also know the closing date of that, so that you can align it with the purchase side, right?
For sure.
When you're looking to buy something.
For sure.
Because it sounds like this particular property, couple, whoever owns that, it sounds like they were in a position where they had to sell and they had to price. Because you and I both know that a $100,000 price change is a big swing.
It's a big swing.
And they probably could have just gone down maybe 50 and saved 50,000.
They for sure left money on the table, right? Like $949, that would have been an appropriate price change, right? A $50K price change is still noticeable, right? That probably would have sold. It probably could have gotten closer to that $950 mark, but for whatever reason, they dropped quickly to get attention.
Interesting.
And I guess even thinking about other scenarios that I've been with clients, I'm thinking the people that are, I guess, more comfortable purchasing first before selling, they usually have a lot of assets, to be honest. They can support themselves. They have a financial cushion where they've made that financial decision for themselves, and they really want to make sure that they're finding the right property for their family to move into. Right? That's how I kind of think about it.
Yep.
So it's having that personal and financial talk with yourself.
Right.
So
Interesting.
yeah.
Can't believe that. That's a big, and so your clients couldn't jump on that because it was gone in a few hours.
It's too quick. Like I said, we weren't in love with the property anyway, so it's fine. There's going to be other listings.
Yeah.
But yeah, even that's a good segue to the amount of inventory that is coming to market and is already on our market.
Yeah.
And just to briefly touch on some of the February stats in the Toronto Real Estate Board, sales were down about 27% year over year, right? From February 2024 to February 2025, 27% decrease in the amount of sales activity. That's significant.
Right.
New listings were still up about 5%. So that means that inventory is just continuing to build in most markets around the GTA.
Right.
We're definitely above active inventory compared to last year. I expect that there's going to be quite a bit of inventory by the time we get to April, May, right? So this is just the trends that we see happening. Buyers, you can be picky. There's lots of inventory to choose from. Sellers are still resistant, many, to drop their price, but it's okay. Just be patient. You'll find the right one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there are sellers that will come down in price. Obviously, we just had that talk. But there was a property actually that I noticed this morning. They just relisted on Lisgar in this neighborhood just around the corner.
Right.
A big, beautiful, detached property was originally listed at $3,750,000, and now they're on the market for $3 million even, offers anytime. So they're taking a $750,000 swipe on that
It's
one.
crazy. Do you know how much they purchased that home for?
I believe it was a complete tear down.
Tear down. Okay.
Brand new building. I believe it was around the 1.5 mark.
Okay.
A few
Basically
years
buying
ago.
the land for roughly that much and then
Yeah.
doing a whole new structure.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, there are some houses that they've done. You said it was on Lisgar?
It was on Lisgar, yeah.
It was on Lisgar.
On
So
the
if-
west side of Lisgar, yeah.
There
Really
are
nice
some-
property.
There are some new builds coming up on Lisgar, so I could see that.
I'm just, I mean, this is a developer or a builder that has, bought this property and done this renovation to it. It kind of reminds me of a little bit of like a Midtown home, something that you would see kind of in Midtown. Like it definitely stands out and it doesn't really like fit in with sort of the, Victorian style brick homes that you kind of see around here. So it sort of stands out. But with that said, it's a beautiful home, brand new finishes, nice backyard. But yeah, that's a $750,000 decrease in price. So
It's massive.
we're seeing the sellers like that where, they have a lot of money tied up in that property and they're like, we need to or we want to sell this. And like, let's just, maybe we're not going to make a profit on this one. Maybe we're going to take a loss on this one. So, but you see that from sort of that seller as opposed to the seller that is more of a family and when the time is right and they can sell for a price that makes sense to them, then they will sell, right? Then they'll move on and then they'll go purchase the property and not have to sell.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I'm seeing some big decreases in prices for sure.
Yeah, those situations like you mentioned right there, those modern new builds, you really have to, be careful in which neighborhood you are building those. I find because if it stands out too much in a neighborhood, I find that they are more of a challenging sale just because the person who can afford that is going to look around the neighborhood and evaluate. Well, I don't know if this neighborhood is for me. They're more discerning, right? Yeah. We know the more, I guess, wealthier neighborhoods in this city, they do tend to be in midtown neighborhoods. And so that's where you said they're more prevalent.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So are there any specific like micro markets that you're focusing on that you're looking at right now?
Yeah, for sure. Beyond the East End homes that I'm looking at, I'm also following what condos in general are selling because it's important to understand like what it actually takes to move a property right now. What I'm seeing is the larger condos, 2 bedrooms that are maybe more than 1,000 square feet. Those nice condos with good layouts are still selling, right?
Yeah.
It's the smaller condos, the 1 bedrooms, the studios that are having a real challenge right now. And there is so much inventory just piling up.
Yeah.
And the new housing completions that are being finished, those are predominantly investor-owned smaller units. Yeah. And also, guys, keep in mind, whenever a new condo building reaches occupancy, a lot of those are going to be rental units because they're investor owned. There's always going to be like 50, 60, 70 rental listings come up in that building when it finally reaches occupancy. Yeah. And you'll see a bunch of landlords trying to undercut everybody by lowering their price. And that's kind of a bit of what's happening right now.
And we've also seen a lot of rental completions, like purpose rental built buildings.
Yes.
I know, like for one, Fitzrovia has been doing a lot of work in the city. They have a site at Church, I think around 88 Church or something like that. They have a site down there that they're working on.
Fitzrovia is doing a ton across the city.
I know
they're very bullish long term though. Like I know their strategy because they believe the rental demand in the city is just going to continue to increase over the next 10, 15, 20 years. So they have a long term plan.
Yeah.
Right now though, I look at some of their units and what they're asking for in terms of their rents. It's expensive.
It is very expensive.
Like relative to what you can get on like just a regular mom and pop condo rental. I just don't know who's going to be paying your premium rents, Fitzrovia, but it's okay.
Yeah. Well, I know that they, in terms of like when they work with realtors, because they do partner with realtors, and I know that they offer a pretty good commission on the commission side. So there's probably some realtors.
So there's some incentive there.
Yeah.
It's great.
But I know that they're building a site right at Bloor and Dufferin, kind of close to where I live.
Sure.
There's like 5 towers going in there, and that's probably, I mean, that's not going to be completed for the next year, but my point is, there's a ton of inventory in the pipeline. And that's, I mean, when you look at the numbers, the rental numbers are down 6%.
That's right.
Right? So if you're in a condo right now and you're renting, maybe it's time to switch and find a cheaper condo or another spot to rent, because those prices are down. And if you're a landlord, I guess you got to somehow try to be competitive or keep the tenants that you have in place and maybe not raise their rent.
That's right, because a lot of landlords are going to be in a negative cash flow position on these condos, right? Because we know the numbers on a carrying cost basis. Like there's a lot of condo owners that are renting it out, and they're more than negative $1,000 a month in negative cash flow.
Yeah.
So you have to be prepared for that, right? That's over $12,000 a year. That's out the door.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
So
what you're seeing is a lot, or I'm seeing it as well, but the larger floor plans. So if you're someone that's maybe sitting in like a nice 2-bed, 2-bath or larger, those units are moving. We've moved a few over the last few weeks. We've closed on a few of those condos, and those had that larger floor plan. So it's that, if someone, a couple or someone that's looking to grow a family and they can't necessarily afford the, $1.2 to $1.5 million freehold home in the city, which is very competitive, they can get into, that larger floor plan condo.
Yeah.
So if you're a seller out there and you're thinking about selling, you can easily reach out to our team. Head down to the description. We have a link in there. You can get an evaluation, or you can book a call with myself, and we can kind of take you through our services and what we offer. But when it comes to those smaller condos, those are the ones that are sitting around those studios. So
it could take some time to absorb that inventory. It's going to take a while,
I think it's going to take a long time.
It's going to take minimum 3 years.
That's what they're saying.
Probably 5, Could be
longer,
So those of you who own one of those smaller condos, be patient. Right, you better have a mid to long term strategy with that property. Because over the next year, if you try to put it on the market, you're going to be sitting with thousands of other units. What distinguishes your condo from the rest of them?
Exactly.
That's a really important thing to keep in mind. Actually, whenever I'm helping buyers buy condos these days, I always get them to think from the perspective of like what is special about this condo, right?
Yeah.
Is it
a resale point of view?
From a resale point of view, right? Like, first of all, is it livable? Like, there's a lot of condos that are not livable, right? They're tiny. Like, how am I supposed to grow my life in here, right? You need a condo that's livable. I'd say at least go for a 1+10, right? Don't even go for a 1-bedroom anymore, right? You could probably afford a 1+10. Most of you single professionals that have good jobs, you can afford a 1+10 these days, right? That's starting roughly at like maybe even $550 right now, right? If you want a better one, go north of $600. I know it's always difficult to have like the purchase conversation with a person, especially for their first property. But if you have somewhat of a goal to build some wealth for yourself, and you see yourself living in Toronto for a longer period of time, maybe longer than 5 years, right? I think a 5-year plan for most people, they should start thinking of that. And buying a property now with a 5-year plan is a great strategy.
Yep, I agree. Okay, so we're sitting here about mid-March. We don't, this episode's on tariffs. We don't have a ton of data on tariffs right now.
It's honestly impossible to predict, right? At the end of the day, there's so many things going on, so much noise in this world. Not even the smartest people can figure out what's going on, right? There's so many conflicting opinions. Let the dust settle. Take some time, to live your life and continue to go to work hard, do whatever you're doing in your business, and that's my advice, really. So
that's great. So on the next episode of Conversations in Queen West, I think we'll be able to dive a little bit more into the numbers, see if the tariffs have affected us at all, if anything. And I just want to thank you again for coming in and doing this episode with us. Now, if you like this type of content and you want more, hit that subscribe button, like, and comment down below. And if you want to book a call with us directly, head down to the description. We have a few links in there. Until the next time, thank you.